All right, y'all, we are talking with Missy, and I'm really excited to start doing something new to kind of like let each month have a new challenger speak about their story and what's worked well for them. And so I'm going to let her tell you how long you've been with our team and what that journey before looked like. Like, what were you struggling with? What were the things that were holding you back? What was your skepticism? All the things.
Okay. I feel like it's been a while, a couple years. Danielle reached out to me. She's reached out to me actually, I think it was the very first time. I actually at the time was really dealing with a lot of mental health issues, and it was kind of like the perfect time where I was like, you know what, I need something to kind of get me really going. And I just kind of went for it. I guess I had been doing stuff before that. And then she'd emailed me and I was like, you know what, this sounds like exactly what I need. Like I need a group of people. I think it was an 80-day or the 80-day obsession came out. And I ended up having some issues in the middle with mental health issues, but Danielle was always checking in on me and it kind of brought me back eventually. So for me, it's like a lot of just really pushing myself to get started. And, it really helps having everybody and Danielle pushing me. So that's kind of when I got started, when I really needed just a whole lifestyle change to get me going.
Well, and back in 2018, you were newly married, right?
Yeah, we had just gotten married, I guess. We're coming up on our third, so 2017. And it was my second year after I'd started teaching, and I ended up having to leave my job after a few weeks. Which was really hard for me because I spent my whole life thinking I was going to be this amazing teacher, and then I had it was just really stressful for me. And then and yeah, so that's where I was. I was kind of in this position where I had to stop doing what I thought was exactly what I was supposed to be doing with my life. And I was feeling really down about myself, and I really needed a positive change in my mindset about myself and my life, and kind of finding direction, because I felt like I was just kind of stuck and almost moving backwards. So I needed a way to move forward and feel good about myself. That was the biggest thing with me that I still work on every day, but really making a big turn to not thinking about myself as failing and, not having a purpose in my life, I
Hmm.
guess.
I love that. What you're supposed to do is there is supposed to, right? Everybody's different. So I myself relate to that, which is probably why we connect. So talk about kind of your journey those first year or two compared to now, because it's very different. Your life's very different, first off,
Yeah.
but also what made that shift for you in, because Missy can tell you, but she's up in the morning on our virtual gym, she's reading daily, she's implementing new programs. Like when you finish one, you start a different one, you don't stick to the same thing. I think that's also really important. So maybe talk about that transition in your journey, because I feel like a lot of women come in thinking, well, oh my gosh, if I didn't do these 3 weeks perfectly, I'm a failure, I'm out, this doesn't work.
Yeah, and even just to speak to that, just last a week ago, my baby had got sick, and then I kind of had 3 days where I felt really off and I couldn't work out. I could barely walk, and I walk every day. And I was talking to my husband, I was to me at the time, I was oh my gosh, I'm totally off. Should I restart 6 weeks of the work? And then I was wait, it's only been 3 days. Nothing is that bad. I got started. I just went right back to it. And then I've just felt really great ever since. And like you were saying, that's a big thing, to just be okay with whether I've had haven't been eating super well, but I just have been you know what, it's only a few days or even a week, but it's I'm not lost. And that was kind of where I found myself when I got pregnant, because I was sick all the time, and then I couldn't work out, and I it was hard because I got into this point where I just, I didn't know, everything just kind of got lost, and it would have been really easy for me to just just decide to keep going on this path of like, thinking that there's no way I'm going to get back to what I'm doing. And, because when you have a baby, a lot of you know, like, you feel like you have no time for anything else, especially yourself. And once I just like really committed to doing these morning routines, I realized that was my time for me and it was important to me. And I felt so much better about myself. I felt better the whole day, like at work and everything. Like I felt like I was just so much more awake. And I can't imagine going back to not waking up early in the morning. Like I just talking to Danielle this morning. It's like I can't even imagine like the last time I woke up like past 7, like, or even like I mean maybe 8. But I just like, I don't know. I'm like addicted to waking up early now, which I never thought I would say.
Well, it's weird too, because people are like, how do you wake up that early? So like maybe answer that question, because I get this all the time. Like even on the weekends, typically I still wake up, like
Yeah.
they'll get on our virtual gym. So like how did you make that shift? What was your like normal wake up time before, and like what made you make the shift and how did you do it?
I mean, it was just like whenever the baby got up and needed me, I was like, okay, this is when I'm getting up. And then like if I could like switch off my husband and just sleep as long as I could, or like I'd go back to sleep like whenever I could and that kind of thing. But like I was just trying to like milk like every like last minute, and then I was kind of realizing that like, like an hour is only but so much of a difference now. It's like to me it's like I could like I wake up on my own sometimes like when I don't plan on it, but I'm like, it's really only 45 minutes. Like there's so much I could do in 45 minutes. Like, and yeah, I just think about like, I don't know, once I just kind of started and I get past a few weeks of like really, it's like tough, especially like when you go through those times where like it's really dark in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
or like you feel like you didn't sleep super great or anything like that. Like the way I just think about it is most of the time, like it's really only an extra hour and you're probably still going to continue to sleep not great.
Yeah, so true.
So, so like I would just get up and even just like do like you said, like just some reading or walking, like just a little something. But like, I don't know, I would do little things. Like I would leave notes, like, cause I'd like kind of wake up in the same position every day. So I would just post things or like put like my bathing suit, like, right. So it's like the first thing I saw when I got up. So if I really needed some motivation, like I had something like right there, like in my eyes or like on my phone posted, like, this is why you want to get up and that kind of stuff. So I just kind of put some of those motivators there for me. And it really only took like a few times of not waking up early before like work for me to realize like how much different I was at work. And I work with kids, like I'm on my feet all day and like your brain has to be like on, like thinking about every little thing. So like realizing like how much of a difference it makes when I do wake up early, which, and like how much better my whole day is, which is like really crazy to think about. And like it's hard to really like get anyone to understand until they actually just like commit to doing it and they realize like, oh, like this is so much better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about it. I never thought I would really say that, but it
And
was,
you kind of started it like what, when your daughter was like 3-4 months old, really, and
yeah,
you consistently done it. She's almost a year, or she is a year.
she's a year old. I started, I think like right before I went back to work. So like a few weeks like in August, I would say. I kind of like wasn't waking up super early, but I was like kind of preparing my body to get up at like 4:30 so I could do what I needed to do. And so I was getting it because at the time I think she was sleeping until like 8:30 sometimes. So like, I would try and get up at like 6, and like even if she was like get middle of the night and stuff. And then when work came around, 4:30 it was. And I probably would wake up at 4:30 still like at least 4 days out of the week. And then the other day, maybe I'll give myself an extra 30 minutes depending on the workout. But yeah, it was just kind of got started. And then that's kind of what happened. I just kind of kept doing it.
Well, because it always seems shocking to people, but it's like you choose how to use your time. And like if you want to make a lifestyle change, there's less distractions. There's nobody posting on social media at 4:30. There's your family's probably not up. And so it's kind of that
Yeah.
time where obviously you get to decide what time you work out or wake up. But I think the cool thing, and maybe we can talk a little bit about this, is since our community has been pretty established over the past couple of years, there's always somebody there. So maybe talk a little bit about what you love most being a part of an accountability groups, because I think some people are kind of nervous about saying yes to something like that, that maybe they're not ready for it, or they're not prepared, or they're not perfect at it. Like those are the things that I hear a lot from the outside when they haven't been a part of it yet. So maybe talk a little bit about your experience with the community side of things.
Yeah, I would say like specifically on the topic of like the Zoom aspects, I feel like that's something that I
Mhm.
was always super nervous about, and like Danielle would always tell me about it. I'm like, no, I'm never doing that, and now it's like one of my favorite things, because like you realize like,
She means Zoom
oh,
workouts.
the
Yeah.
workouts in the morning, like getting on to the video and having everyone up. It's just kind of like a nice thing to know that someone else is like up at the same time with you. And like, you know, like I'll get on, like it's funny sometimes I'm like, oh, that person's usually finishing when I'm like getting on. I'm like, maybe I should try and wake up a little early and get on with them, like type of thing.
Competitive, yeah.
And I like it's nice to like think like, oh, I want to get on and see that person, whether or not like, I don't know. It's really I like that aspect of it. And then one of the things I like actually about the accountability aspect is like I found that I can be more honest with times where I'm like struggling, and people are always there to support you. So it's like the opposite of what people think. Like if you're not doing it, people are going to be like on your case, like in a negative way. Like for example, like one of the people who I usually see, my child, in the morning, like hadn't seen me in a few days, and they were like checking in just to be like, hey, like just want to check in and see how you're doing, like I haven't seen you in the mornings. And I thought that was really nice because like I have been sick, and like it was just nice to know that someone was like thinking about me, but they weren't like, you know, on my case. Like they were just, you know, checking in. And then like for me, like I really like to post like on days where I did have like a hard time, or like I was struggling to get up, or just like anything. Like I feel like people are there to support you more than like kind of bring you down.
Mhm.
And I think that's the best part about it, is it's not like you kind of have to step out of like being so self-conscious of who you are and like what you're doing. Like you become kind of more proud of what you're doing, and then more okay with when you're not doing as good as you think you should be doing.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's hard, but I feel like it gets the opposite effect that you think is going to happen, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I'm always of the opinion of like, you have to meet me halfway. So like when I started coaching, I was always like, I'm going to walk the walk, and you have to decide to walk the walk alongside of
Yeah.
me. And it is a partnership that we all contribute to. And I think that's so important, that like, I don't want to be your babysitter or your mom or your
Yeah.
boss. Like we all have those. We don't need them.
Yeah.
But I think that that's something really special about our team, is that, you probably have never even met that girl in real life, yet she's checking in on you because you've created this consistent routine that is something part of our lives together consistently.
Yeah.
Um, so I just think that's super cool, because you get out what you put in. So you can have this mindset of like, I'm scared to work out on Zoom and other people see me, or you could get on there and be like, I don't care what I look like. Most of us take our shirts off and we just
Oh,
work
I know. I've never had like shirtless workouts in my whole life. I'm like,
because it's like we just don't care. Like we're
yeah.
not there. I don't have time if I'm watching my workout video to figure out what Missy's doing, and we're all doing different things. So it's this togetherness community aspect that I think is really special. And we have a bunch of different resources that tie into that, but I think Zoom workouts are my favorite as well, because I get to see
Yeah.
you every day.
I do love the Zoom workouts.
So talk a little bit about, because I know also like supplement wise, people get nervous about Shakeology or the performance line. Maybe share a little bit about what you've tried and what your experience has been about that, openly and honestly.
I have Shakeology every day. I pretty much have Energize every morning, because I love it. And then I use the hydrate while I work out for like my tougher workouts, which lately has literally been all of them. Ever since I started doing Insanity, I think ever since then, it's kind of just been the necessary.
So good.
I used, when I did 80-day obsession, I had used Recover, but I haven't used it since then for no reason other than I just haven't really thought about it, to be completely honest. But everyone tells me how great it is.
Mhm.
But I would say like Shakeology is like, I don't know, I just feel better when I have it, and it like tastes good, and it's just like, it's so easy for my morning, like especially with like getting together all my stuff and the baby stuff. Like it's easy just to like make my shake, know that I'm having something healthy to start off my day, and I can just be like out the door. So like it's just such an easy way to feel like I'm getting like such just great nutrition for my body to like get it like kickstarted for the day. So that's what I really like. So it was really, really sad when I couldn't drink it while I was pregnant, because it made me, not because I wasn't allowed, because it made me feel sick along with literally everything.
Because that's true. Like a lot of our pregnant moms actually find that that's like the only thing they can have, since it's easier digested in your system rather than like I know there's a couple prenatal vitamins you still need in addition to it, but I know it can supplement some, a lot of them actually. You just usually have to educate your doctor. But yeah, I
Yeah.
know you were really sick, so you weren't eating much of anything.
I just like had like aversion to eating, which was like really depressing. And I just was like super, I don't know, being pregnant was not a very fun experience for me. But I also found out later that I had like really bad hips. Like I had like all this extra bone in my hips. It's a whole big thing. So that's why I had so much pain, as to part of why I like couldn't really work out, because I could barely stand in my part-time job the whole time. It was rough. But I digress. That was kind of why I had to start kickstarting all the stuff I've been doing, because I needed to lose weight, not just because I wanted to lose weight, but because it was healthy for me, for my hips. But anyways, back to the supplements. Energize, like I feel like it really like
What is Energize, and when do you use it?
Energize, is the like pre-workout. I pretty much every morning have the same routine. I get up, I drink like 8 to 12 ounces of plain water, and then I get I always keep like my little like cup just for Energize in the refrigerator, so it's cold already. I like cold drinks. And then I have that, and then usually I'll either read for a little bit after I drink it, or I'll go on my like warm up walk, because my body needs some time to warm up before doing workouts. So that's like one of the first things I have in the morning. And yeah, I think it's like part of why it's also easier to like get going in the morning, because you could have a hard time getting out of the bed and then getting started, but like that Energize really gives you that extra kick to kind of like mentally like get going. Like your body starts to get going, so it kind of helps your mind push forward on those days where you're having like a really hard time. And I really feel like it gets my like workouts, like I do better in my workouts too. And then the hydrate I drink during my workout, so it's kind of like an electrolyte thing. I guess it helps, especially when I'm doing 6 weeks of the work right now. Like I've never sweat so much in my entire life. Like my leggings or my shorts, whatever, like they completely change colors. So like I need that extra for hey, this is Sadie.
Hi.
This is like the main reason why I work out so hard and get up in the mornings. What do you think, babe? But yeah, so Energize is important to me, because not only now I'm like outside in the mornings for my job, we're out in the sun for about 3 hours straight with the kids due to coronavirus, like trying to keep them as far apart as possible and not inside. So now I'm like out in the sun all day, walking around in addition. So I need like get those electrolytes to keep me from having headaches all day, or so like even on days where I had like a rest day, I'll usually put hydrate in my drink while I'm have my water bottle at work to keep me from feeling dizzy and that kind of thing. Cause it's been like 90 degrees. So, I got to make sure that I'm staying hydrated and that kind of thing. So I'll still have it on some days where I feel like I need a little extra water. But I really like it. I feel like it helps me like kind of push. Like I make sure I drink some like during my workout, like kind of in the beginning, so that towards the end, I feel like my muscles aren't getting like super, super tired, even though 6 weeks of work keeps you, your muscles tired.
It's probably one of the hardest programs in our library.
Oh my God. Yes, it is so hard.
But you worked up to it, right?
I
So
did. That was like probably one of the things that I had like written down to like talk about. It has nothing to do with supplements really per se, but
really cool.
like after having a baby, like the biggest thing for me is like I like to just like go as hard as I can all the time. And like I really had to like, it was like a process getting my body back. And like I started with the morning meltdown 100, and like I could barely do most of the moves, but like I've just become, I feel like this like master of like seamlessly fitting in like the oh my gosh, I can't think of the word.
Modifiers.
Thank you. The modifiers. And like that was, I could barely do like a plank, and now like I can like, I don't know. So I started out doing like just the workouts, but like really like totally modified and like everywhere possible. And like I would honestly just find myself just kind of like slightly jogging in place when I felt like I couldn't do most of the stuff. And then I kind of went to a point where I added in like a walk beforehand, and then I moved to doing doubles. And then so I just kind of like would add on as time goes by. But like for me, modifying was like a really hard thing to do, because like I feel like it's just like a constant like personal development thing. I feel like is kind of everything that like Beachbody like embodies, and like that's something I need to work on myself. And I feel like it makes me feel really good when I know that I, you know, maybe I did modify like my push-ups, like so many push-ups in 6 weeks. So like you just have to like feel good that, you know what, like I was doing something. So that's one of the things I think is really important to like convey to people who are like so worried about that they're not going to be good enough at things, or they won't be able to do certain things. And like that's kind of the point, like you start out like not being able to do it, and that's the whole thing. Like you're like getting better, and like even, you know, I've been working out and doing stuff my whole life, and there are plenty of things I can't physically do in my workouts, but it doesn't mean I'm not trying my hardest, I guess. So that was important to me to like, I guess, get out there, that I had to start from this point where I could like barely do certain anything.
Humble yourself for sure.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's important, that every master was once a beginner. You know, we didn't start doing burpee push-ups like day one postpartum, right? Like you build up to that, and you do it with consistency over time. And so I think one of the things that you've done, particularly in your journey, is you've listened to me, and every woman hates when I tell them to do this. You probably know what I'm going to say, because all my new challengers are like, but do I really? You take pictures along the way. And so maybe talk a little bit about that and why we've done that.
Yeah. And I like, honestly, I don't take as many pictures as like everyone else does, but I do take pictures pretty consistently. And I do all like the measurements and everything, because I don't know, it's like, honestly, like you just feel like really good about yourself, that you can see like your body changing. And like for me, like I've had to like move my mindset from the weight aspect to like how I look to myself and like how I feel in my clothes. Because like, especially now that I've been doing this program, like I've been losing some inches, but like I'm not really losing any weight per se. And like, you know, you just really get to see how your body changes over time. And like you just, it feels good to be able to see it and have like this documentation and like get to look back. And because sometimes you're like lately, I think I just like posted a picture and I was like, so many people respond to this picture. Like I didn't really like, I guess in my mind, I still feel like I look a certain way. And then like having the pictures helps you like kind of put in perspective, like all the hard work you've done. So like for me, like, I guess in my mind, I'm still like this post-pregnant, like, I mean, I was like way over 200 pounds, like, you know, in my mind, I'm still like this, even though I'm like fitting in like smaller clothes, like in like mediums and stuff, which like it's been a very long time for me. Like in my mind, I'm still this size. So like taking pictures really helps. And I'm realizing that I didn't take a lot of pictures when I was pregnant or post-pregnant. So
You're
like, I have to go back to those pictures that I took in August, because those are like the only pictures I have of myself that aren't like just a selfie, to look at of my whole body. So I'm like, as much as I'm like, oh, I should have taken more pictures of myself. And like, even now I still have that mindset of like, oh, do I really want my whole body to be in these pictures? But apparently I should keep doing it because everyone loved that picture.
Well, I think moms really struggle with that too. I mean, like, and it's not a judgment thing whatsoever, but it always hurts my heart when like you've taken pictures in the pool with a bikini on and your 1-year-old, and that's friggin' phenomenal. And like, I
Yeah.
want more moms to experience that, because I know that y'all go through that mindset of like, oh, I have to stand in the back, or like I have to wear a shirt, or I need to be this single, like, so I think it's just so important that you take those progress photos, not even to share with anybody. Like our group, you don't have to share anything publicly whatsoever. I mean, the transformations I share, I get permission to share. But I think that's such a mom thing, but also anyone who's trying to lose weight or get healthy or whatever. Oh goodness, we lost her. But well, maybe we'll just like wrap it up, because I'm sure her little babe is taking over. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys to hear from a challenger. Oh, there she is. Maybe we got her back.
My child.
Mom life. It's totally cool. We can wrap it up anyways.
No, it's okay. My husband just thought it was really cute. And then he realized it wasn't that cute when she turned it off.
Okay, it happens. I know you have lots going on, but that's the cool thing too. It's like our virtual groups allow her to show her daughter in real life the work that she's doing, and I think that's super awesome too.
Yep. He used to make a lot of cameos in my workouts back when she could just lay there. Now it's impossible. She'd be into everything. But I love watching other people do with their kids.
I know, so cute. We have so many now. So maybe closing thoughts, touch a little bit about like, what is a test group experience, why someone should do that, and then any other closing thoughts you have for anyone considering being a part of our groups.
Okay. So I'm trying to think which I did. I guess I did the morning meltdown test group. And I guess I did the 80-day. I know I didn't finish, but I worked really hard for those first 40 days before I had a giant meltdown. But I mean, something about being a test group is like you have all these people doing it with you, and they're all doing it for the first time, and everyone is like super committed. And that's the biggest thing. I was reading, gosh, I forget which book it was, but the one thing that resonated me the most is like, making a commitment to yourself. Once you like break a commitment to yourself, each time it makes it easier to do that. And then you're kind of just cheapening your word if you're continually breaking a commitment. Like you're not really committing to anything. So it really helps to have all these people doing it with you. So for me, it's like right now I was thinking like I really need like to really like push past, like I need to jumpstart back into like my nutrition and just my like, I mean, my mindset is still really great, but I just feel like I need like just kind of like propel me forward a little bit. And this, like the test groups are perfect for that because everyone's getting so excited and there's so much hype, and it kind of just gets you more excited to do something maybe you haven't been doing or that you want to do, because everyone's kind of in that same boat. It's not just like, it's not just like, oh, we're starting a new program. Like it's a whole like energy that people have that I'm really excited for. And so that's kind of what I'm really excited about with the test group coming up. And then that was your question. Oh, and then any like ending remarks? Is that what you said?
Yeah, just like any other like tips or tricks for somebody that maybe hasn't been as active in the groups or is considering being a part of our accountability groups. Like what piece of advice do you give to them?
I don't know. I guess I would just say like, don't don't like be afraid. I know it's like really hard to say that, but I've been there. Like I was really like freaked out by all kinds of things, and now like one of my favorite things to do is to add my little notes to my my posts on my workouts. Like that's kind of, it's almost like my like own little journal of like, this is how I felt. Like I'll like think during my workout, I'm like, oh, I want to write that.
Mhm.
So it's kind of my like, I like, that's one of the things I love is like being able to share like either something I was really excited for or share something that I was struggling with, whether I think it's going to help someone else or just to like get it out there. Cause then I'm like, I don't know, I feel less bad about something if I feel like I'm sharing it because I'm okay with it and I'm like okay with sharing it with people.
Mhm.
I think for like, I don't know, I deal with a lot of mental health issues, and I know we've talked about like counseling a lot over um, the groups, and I feel like we hit on a lot of those things that people are dealing with. And you know, it's just so much to everything that we do, between like the food and like the nutrition and like, I don't know, I just feel like the accountability group and being a part of this is like really changed like my whole life. I don't know, it just helps me like feel so much more powerful and feeling so great about myself. Like it's, I don't know, I love it. I'm like totally into it. So I like,
Give
I
me
always like
goosebumps.
try to get what.
Give me goosebumps.
So I don't know, I just think that it just takes, like everyone says, like getting started is the hardest part. But once you get started and you start to realize all the like such amazing benefits for like your mind and your just whole life, like I feel like my child can be happier because I'm happier and I feel stronger, and you know, I feel like I want to feed her healthy things, so I'm like, well, I need to be eating healthy too. Like, you know, I'm constantly thinking about that now. I mean, not everyone is in that same mindset, but like, you know, I mean, that kind of stuff in the future is important to me, and this group is, you know, really important to me and my whole life. So that's where I am. Yeah.
You're the best. Thank you so much for taking the time, and
Thanks
I'm
for
so
pushing me
proud of
to
you.
this.
I'm so proud of you and what you've done, especially this last year postpartum. And I can't wait to rock our next test group together.
I know, I'm really excited.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Missy. Hopefully, this was helpful for y'all, and feel free to reach out to us for any questions you have. All right, girl. Talk to you later.
Bye.